Hey there folks, Daniel Fritter from Caliber Magazine. I wanted to do a really brief video addressing some of the concerns that I've heard from gun owners who are obviously feeling dejected, worried, concerned, depressed after the election result on April 28th there. Now, Mark Carney's Liberal Party did win a minority, and obviously their platform did include some gun policy stuff, including quote-unquote reinvigorating the gun confiscation, compensation, buyback, whatever you want to call it, program. It also included the election of Poly Saint Souvient spokesperson, or former Poly Saint Souvient spokesperson, Natalie Provost, who has been one of the most outspoken anti-gun lobbyists in Canada, to the Liberal caucus. And the combination of these factors has a lot of gun owners, for very justifiable reasons, quite concerned. But as ever the optimist, I wanted to point out a few things. First off, I have seen a ton of speculation about what could happen. People talking about blanket bans on this or who knows what else, legislative changes that would see handguns being seized, stuff like that. And I would simply say that there's no point in doing that. We are in a period of time that is quite unfamiliar. Although the Liberals did inherit another minority government, which obviously inspires comparisons to the Trudeau minority, with the complete collapse of a now leaderless NDP and a Bloc Québécois that had positioned itself during the campaign is not terribly supportive of Mark Carney, and also has its own motives that are dramatically at odds with a Liberal Party that may be seeking re-election. It's very difficult to know what the next coalition government, or not coalition, but what the next government will look like because so many of the other pieces have changed. We largely are almost entering a period of a two-party government, given how thoroughly the NDP has collapsed, and obviously the bloc only exists in one province. So speculation is difficult to really have any merit in. Furthermore, with the discussions around Ms. Provost being a member of caucus, yes, she's a very prominent member of the anti-gun effort and has been very prominently featured in the news. But I'll remind people that Mark Carney did not know who she was, what school she went to when he introduced her. So her recruitment with the Liberal Party is likely not something that Mark Carney was terribly involved with. Moreover, historically speaking, when you are a junior MP who is new and who is just elected, you need to get some seniority, and there is a lot of seniority in this caucus already. So although there are some news outlets like Globe and Mail saying she might be picked for cabinet, maybe based on her profile, that would be quite a different result from what we've seen historically. She may end up being a deputy, or not deputy minister, but a parliamentary secretary, which for those that are unfamiliar, you have a cabinet minister, and then the MP that serves underneath them is called a parliamentary secretary. And then there's a deputy minister who's actually part of the government, a bureaucrat that basically interfaces between the elected politician that serves in cabinet and the actual ministry itself, comprised of government employees. So she may end up with a parliamentary secretary, or she may end up in cabinet, but it would be quite unlikely for a brand new MP with no experience in politics to go from a lobbyist position to cabinet. Obviously, too, with her background in lobbying, there is some degree of, I would hope, controversy with a lobbyist going straight into cabinet, especially if it was a cabinet post that was pursuant to the specific area of law she was lobbying around. So who knows where that's going to shake out as well. Again, it's not terribly worth speculating. I'm just providing this as additional context to help maybe calm some frayed nerves that we're just going to get absolutely destroyed by this next parliament. Now, the next thing I want to say, too, is that historically speaking, gun owners have actually done quite well when it comes to regulatory change. We haven't had many opportunities to, with only one majority government in recent memory. However, that one majority government did both unban firearms. I'm speaking specifically of the Swiss Arms and CZ 858 rifles, which was a monumental task because it required legislation in order to be policy, and also got rid of the long gun registry, which, as everyone knows now, is a crucially important thing towards securing guns in the future. If the registry was still around, we would be looking at a very different reality for this particular gun ban in this government, that we aren't right now because of that registry having been destroyed, supposedly. But that's a different subject. So all is not lost. We have unbanned guns in the past. The AR-15, for those that are old enough to remember, was originally supposed to be prohibited. The DCRA actually lobbied government to make it restricted so it could be used as a sporting rifle. And in a longer term case or perspective, I do think that there is hope on the horizon. There are more gun owners in this country than there have been, or licensed gun owners, than there have been at any point in the PAL's existence. And it is still growing. So I think there is a huge amount of faith to be had there. And lastly, from watching the entire campaign unfold, I think most would agree that guns did not play the role we thought they were going to. They were briefly mentioned in the debate, and obviously there was a couple days of press in which Mark Carney brought up the reinvigorating the gun buyback and whatnot, but it never really gained traction in the media. And moreover, there was no direct attack on the CPC for them wanting to legalize things. There was from the lobbyists, obviously, but from the actual parties themselves, there were no pointed attacks like those that we saw directed at Aaron O'Toole, which does make me somewhat wonder if they're starting to recognize, or maybe have internal polling data or something else that is showing them that pursuing these gun bans is no longer the winning political case that Justin Trudeau thought it was in 2020. And obviously, with Mark Carney now being quite keen, if not desperate, to distance his new government from that of Justin Trudeau, and wanting to exercise some fiscal prudence, who knows? Maybe there is a situation in which he says these bans simply haven't worked. We see the statistics. We don't think it's worth spending another $2 billion to $4 billion to find out more that they're not working. So keep calm, carry on, keep a stiff upper lip, do all those things. And as always, it is crucially important now, especially if you have a new MP in your area, that you reach out to them by email or phone, get in contact with them, and make them know that this is a big issue for you. I'm going to be doing it. Unfortunately, my riding flipped from a conservative to a liberal, but I'm definitely going to be contacting my new MP, Steve Fuhr, to try and sit down with him to discuss this stuff. He has said in an AMA on Reddit that he has a gun license and that he understands the plight of licensed gun owners and wanting the legislation to be fair. And I plan to sit down with him and ensure he understands that what is currently going on is already unfair. And that this is a huge issue for a lot of gun owners, and something that the Liberals would probably be wise to take some ownership of and perhaps turn the page on, to finally say that we are not the same Liberals as Justin Trudeau's, and we can look forward to a different future. So get in contact with your MP. It does not matter what party they're from. Especially if it's NDP. There's so few of them out there now that, they'll be looking for ways to make sure that they can win those seats back. If it's a Liberal, there will be a lot of new Liberal MPs, and the first people that email them saying, hey, I appreciate your victory. I'm one of your constituents. I want to speak with you about this crucially important issue. It's something that I vote around. It is hugely important to me and my family and so many others. And give them your thoughts. So please, please, please do not stop trying to contact your MPs just because the election's over. The work doesn't end now. The work begins now. We didn't get the result we wanted on April 28th, but that just means we didn't get the result we wanted yet. If we're ever going to get it, we need to put the work in now. So get in contact with your MPs, get in contact with your organizations, your gun clubs, get them to reach out to government and other entities that you can put pressure on to make sure that everyone understands these issues. And as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. YouTube says 73% of you aren't subscribed, so I'm insulted. But if you're not, that's okay too. But please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll be down in the comments answering questions for a little bit. I apologize for how long it's taking to get this video out. My kids were sick for the past week, so there it is that. But as always, look after yourselves, and I will see you on the next one.